Well, hello and welcome to this Record Power Live Sessions Highlights video. To see more Live Sessions videos, you can subscribe to the Record Power YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the bell so you get notifications each time a new video is released.
Hi, my name's Theo and welcome to my studio workshop here in Brisbane, Australia. Trees grow in all shapes and sizes, so if you're a beginner, you don't have to worry about the dimensions too much, because no matter what you do, it's going to look like a tree. I'll be showing you the easiest way to turn a cone. It doesn't take long using a template like this, and then next thing you know, you haven't only turned a tree, you've created a forest. So what are we going to do next? I'm going to put a piece of wood in the lathe, and I'll show you how I rough this down to round. First of all, I take my marking gauge and I'll find the center. So I'm going to form the taper at this end. What you learn as a beginner is you've got to rotate the work 360 degrees. And I'm taking my roughing gouge now. You go in the middle and you pick up a piece, you could actually take a whole splinter off. So you just go on the end. I'm just on 2000 there, and you just take a cut. It's starting to cut. Once you get that angle, you just keep that angle. I'll just get the rest of this round and then we'll start forming this tree. And this time I work away from the chuck, not towards the chuck. And you can see the change in the shaving straight away. I'm going to stop the lathe and move the tool rest and we'll form the cone. I'm going to now do those marks again to form the cone. So they're about 9.32 mil apart. Now you can see it from a couple of angles. So I just take the cut from one line to the next, and the cone automatically forms just as it starts to cut. So this particular live center, I can keep going with that steady there if I'm not comfortable. And now that I've done that, I can also take the opportunity to move the tool rest so it's parallel to the curve that I want to take. Because I am using a roughing gouge, you don't have to be rough with the roughing gouge, but it takes a fairly large cut. Now to tidy that up, if I take my spindle gouge, now I know that that point goes in, you know, around about there. If this was a clock, that would be 12 o'clock. Now, what I always like to do is cut at about 10:30. 12 o'clock, 10:30, 1:30. And if it's in the 12 o'clock position, in this horizontal position, nothing happens. You can run up and down there and nothing's really going to happen. It's not until you rotate the tool that it starts to cut. If you don't want to put a groove in the timber, you're trying to clean something up, as you're moving forward, you rotate the tool, you can't even see where the tool started to cut. We don't want too sharp a point. In fact, when I get a sharp point, I just cut it off. If you're going to pick up the skew and you're going to practice with it, that's the toe and that's the heel in skew torque. If you learn to take straight cuts first and get your confidence, so you can use a ruler like this and you can just mark it like this. If you take any sort of parting tool, you point it downwards like that, engage it and bring it up, and you can form a nice groove. So that's that parting tool. I've got another parting tool. That one was the 10 mil or 3/8. This one is 3/16. There it is there. What other tool I've got? Oh, look, here, Mike, I'm using a skew. I'll just push that in. I'm just going to turn a cone now. The cone's getting a bit smaller. Like I was saying earlier, trees come in all shapes and sizes, so don't sweat it too much. And I'm just caressing the bevel. That has got to be one of the easiest cuts to make. So now I'm going to get my pencil. I always make the first point a little bit longer and then the next one a bit shorter. And then about here I start to estimate If I put that there and then I make this one here, you see the way they're getting bigger? So I'll show you first with the skew. I want to come to that line. I want to take that line off. And that should be pushing that away. And we're just on that. There we are. And now picking up the heel, nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden it starts to cut. So I'm cutting right on the tip. Again, I start here. And always this edge here is going in the direction that you want to go. Get right to the pencil line. You could even do a slight curve there. Again, flip the tool over, this time with the heel of the tool, rubbing the bevel, coming down. You just follow that direction, and it's hardly any pressure on the wood. And I'll show you that cut again now with the spindle gouge. So this is a lady fingernail spindle gouge. I'm going in square, go in there, and you just work your way up, and as you work your way up, you go a little bit deeper. And because I'm coming in square, the tool doesn't want to skid. Now it's the same cut. Remember I was talking about it before? You roll the tool. So this is so easy. So my finger goes under the tool rest. The tool is connected to the tool rest. And you see how the tool's tucked into the body? Even the finest cuts, the tool is always connected to your body. Your thumb should also be connected to the tool rest, and that goes in there like that. And have a look at this. Basically, that's the pivot point. I do a lot of pivoting cuts, and the backhand just does the rotating to increase the depth of the cut, and that's what gives me the control. I need to take a cut across here and make sure that that's round. There, and I want to, that's going to be the underside of the top. So again, it's a similar principle. I should be going in square. Now, if you want to take a big cut, as you go in, you rotate the tool, and it starts to act like a parting tool. And I find this is a lot easier. This gap in here where the trunk is, you always make it wide enough so you can get your finger down there to sand your work. And I've got a chatter tool here. It's spring steel. It's going to make a lot of noise. Basically it flexes, catches in the wood kicks it away, and it comes back. If I get a nice green pen, and you can see there's a little bit of a pattern there. So I'm going at 2,500, so I don't want the paint to penetrate too much. I just want to skim it across the surface. So it's just a little surprise for people. Here's the trunk of the tree. I've got brown here, and if you want, you can colour the rest of the tree. This is one I bought when I first started wood turning. This was made by Kevin Rosetta. It would have been about 1998. I bought it for $3, and that took pride and place on our table during Christmas. And it's a good way to remember Kevin Rosetta, who was the master of the skew. The base that I like is this one. So I'm going downhill here. So this is more like a pottery vase. This is a glorious little 1/16, 1.5 mil parting tool, and I'll undercut it slightly. And I'll just show you this on this camera here. There's that chatter work. That's your little tree. Now, one thing I said I was going to show you. So I formed a cone there. This is really terrible old pine. It's a punky old piece of pine, and there it is there. So all you do is put the tool flat, you dig in the heel like that, and you just roll it over. I'll just go up. The further up the tree you go, the closer you make them. And all it does is raises the grain. Here's one I turned earlier, and you can see I turned the V-groove, and then I just had to turn that. I've got some 120 grit. I'm just going to turn the lathe on. You can see the star starting to form, and we're still rounded at this end. Oh, look at that. What a great way to finish. I think we'll end there, Mike. That's good for the soul when you can do something like that, and it's all one piece.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us. And don't forget, if you want to see more live sessions videos, you can subscribe. the Record Power YouTube channel. Come on and join our international woodworking community and be part of the next Record Power live session. You can register at recordpowertv.com.